This meeting of the Eureka Springs City Council will come to order. Ms. Clerk, would you establish a quorum, please?
Ken Pownall.
Here.
Janet Alexander.
Here.
Butch Berry.
Present.
Dean Kirkpatrick.
Here.
Kenny Balance.
I'm here.
James DeVito.
Here.
All right, thank you. We have a quorum. Everybody stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, next on the agenda is approval of the agenda.
Move to approve.
Motion made to approve. Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Dot?
Unfinished business, I'd like to take number 4 off of this time.
Number 4,
Yes.
under unfinished.
Yes. And under new business, number 2.
Okay. So that'll move everything up. Is that correct?
And number 8.
And number 8 under new.
Yes.
Okay, so under unfinished, it's
Number
2
4.
and 4.
It's 4. New, 2, and 8.
Okay.
Got it.
Ms. Balance?
Will these just be postponed until the next meeting?
Yes, that's what I meant.
Anybody else? I would like to move number 4 up to number 1 under new business.
Number 4 was,
The Basin Park presentation, so we'll get that over with.
okay.
See, so dog comes number 2. Number 1. Anything else?
I would like to postpone number 6 under new business to a later date, to be announced at a later date.
Postpone, okay. Anybody else? Mr. Berry?
At the last meeting we had, Mickey Snyder was tabled, and I'd like to bring that back up for discussion under the planning nominations.
Okay. Anybody else? Mr. Pano?
I'd like to bring Mr. Grinnell's application back under HDC.
Anybody else?
Yes.
Mr. Balance?
In order to take something off the table, it will take a vote to suspend the rules and then a vote to take it off the table. Yes?
No.
Not on the agenda.
You tabled it, and it can be brought up at any time. I might ask our city attorney.
Depends on which set of rules you're looking at. If you look at one set of Robert's rules, if it's tabled indefinitely, it's basically dead. And under the other set, it can be brought back up. So there's a conflict, and you did not adopt a particular set of Robert's rules, I don't believe.
So what do we do?
Well, I think at that point, the body has to set its own rules, so you're going to have to vote on how you perceive it.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Berry?
I would move that we position Mickey Schneider under planning position 1. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Under position 1?
Was
Mr. Beard, did you second that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, motion made and seconded. All in favor, moving Mickey Snyder back to position 1
aye.
in planning? Any opposed?
No.
No.
Okay, roll call.
3-3.
Mr. Pownell?
No.
Ms. Alexander?
Yes.
Mr. Berry?
Yes.
Dr. Kirkpatrick?
No.
Ms. Balance?
No.
Mr. DeVito?
Yes.
3 and 3.
Tiebreaker. Falls to me. Yes. Mr. Pownell.
I have a question on the agenda. The draft agenda, or the agenda that, the draft agenda that was on the webpage showed the CAPC position, the at-large position.
Yes, sir.
And the latest one that didn't show anything. Is that still the same?
It is. It's still the same. The board voted to vote Ms. Grautner leave of absence till August 2011. Leave that position open for the time being. Anything else on the agenda? Okay. Agenda's approved. We're going to have to vote on that one. To approve it, or is it just good as it is?
Voice.
Okay. Motion to approve the agenda as it is, has been amended.
Second.
Yeah, I can't make that motion.
I make the motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Mr. DeVito moved to approve as amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, motion carried. Agenda's approved. Approval of the minutes for April 2007. I'm sorry, April the 7th, 2011.
Move to approve.
Second.
Made and seconded. Any corrections, deletions, additions? Mr. Pownell?
It doesn't change the vote any, but on page 4, under item new business number 2, excuse me, where it talks about Mr. DeVito made an amended motion to pay Ms. Clark. On the vote, municipal law question and answers states that the only time that the mayor should
Yes.
vote is if it's to pass.
To approve, yes, sir. I realize I made a mistake on that one. Thank you.
It doesn't change the vote, but I just,
Okay. Yes, sir. It was brought to my attention after the fact, and in our confusion the last time, it was bad on my part. All right, thank you, sir. That is corrected. Motion to approve the amended minutes.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
We're not really amending the minutes. We're just mentioning something, right?
I didn't change
Okay,
it.
okay. All right. Well, withdraw that then. Okay. With that, we have the minutes approved. Next is commission, committee, authority reports, and vacancies.
Did you take a vote on approval?
Okay, approval of the minutes, my bad. I thought we had to blaze right through that one.
Move to approve.
Made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Now commission, committee, authority reports, and vacancies. For your approval, I submit the following applications for positions and committees. Let me dig them all out. All right, for Parks Commissioner number 1, submit Betsy Rodier, R-O-D-I-E-R. You should have copies.
Somewhere.
For, and that'll be all into Parks for the time being. Okay. Under Planning, under position number 1, There'll be a resubmittal of
Mickey?
Mickey Schneider's, and I should have those somewhere. There we go. I have them here for your perusal. Let me pass those around. And position number is not wrote on there, but since it's been amended to position number 1. Also will be all right, since we changed up, moved to Mickey to number 1, that leaves number 6 open.
Teresa?
Gotta find it, yeah. Be Teresa DeVito, position number 6. No, we got open now. How many does that leave us? This is the only 2, isn't it? Okay.
That's it for planning.
Okay. And Ms. Chamberlain's we'll hold in reserve. She had applied for commission number 1, but we'll hold that since you changed it to number 1. Now well, I guess we can also submit this for position number 1. You don't have to you don't have to decide who you want. Susan Chamberlain, position number 1, Planning Commission. You should have that one also.
Are you nominating 2 people for the same position? You nominate 1.
Okay. All right. I'll withdraw Ms. Chamberlain for the time being. We'll hold that in reserve. Okay. Just changing everything in the middle of the stream here. Okay, and that'll be the only 2 for planning. For the hospital, remain the same. Cemetery, there's no change. I have a letter. Let me just finish the submittals first, okay? For HDC position number 3, Mr. Charles Templeton. He applied for the position today. You should have that one. And for position number 6, I believe it is, Mr. Grinnell. I have the original, and here are your copies. Okay. I received a letter from the Vice President of the Cemetery Commission, Benny Clark. He wanted me to read this to the council due to the fact that no one from there could be here. He said that Tom Reynolds may be here, but I don't see Tom. He may be out in the lobby. Is Tom here? Okay. Mr. Reynolds, would you come in? Hello, Tom. You got a copy of this letter? No. Okay. You do now. Diane, would you? That's the application, so I don't have to keep this. Okay, this is Mr. Tom Reynolds. He would like to read this letter out loud too. You step up to the mic, Tom.
Dear Honorable Mayor Pate and City Council members, I am writing this letter on behalf of the Eureka Springs City Cemetery Commission. In recent years, we have missed the budgeting process for the Cemetery Commission. In checking our records, we received $10,000 in March 2002 to purchase our mower. After 9 years of mowing 40-plus acres, it is time to replace our mower. This mower is costing more in upkeep and has become a safety issue. We are currently checked on a mower that is compatible with what we're using now. The cost will be around $14,000. I'm aware that we will need to put this item out for bids. We, the Commission, hope the Mayor and City Council will see the need to allocate funds to purchase a new mower. This will enable us to maintain the level of excellence of well-manicured cemetery for our loved ones and visitors to our historic community. Thank you for your consideration in this matter. Benny Clark, Vice President, City Cemetery Commission.
All right, thank you, sir. All right. We'll make you copies of this if you want it for your files. We'll have them in your box. Okay? Thank you. Do you need to say something to us
I
on
had
behalf of
signed
the
up for
cemetery?
the open mic, but if I have the opportunity to speak right now, I would like to.
Council have any problem with him making his comments now? No. Okay. Go ahead.
I don't believe that everyone here has any idea the dire situation that the cemetery is in at this time. Most mowers of the type that we use, lawn service companies replace them before they reach 1,000 hours or so. Ours has 2,400 hours on it. It is worn out. I'm currently using, well, up until Monday, I was using my own weed eaters, my own chainsaws, my own equipment to help maintain the cemetery facility. As of Monday, I took them home. The city is not going to pay me for the maintenance upkeep of my own equipment. I would like to ask each and every council member here to please come out and tour the facility with me. Take a look at the equipment that we have. We have one of the most beautiful and scenic and peaceful cemeteries you've ever seen in the country. And I know that most people, when they go to the cemetery, they only see the front portion. They don't see the entire cemetery. There's 43 acres there. It's twice the size of most cemeteries in the area. And it is a vast reservoir of this city's history and heritage. And it is not only our duty but our obligation to put forth the funding to help upkeep and manage and maintain the facility. And before we start talking dollar amounts, I would like each of you, please, come out and take a tour of the facility. My number is posted on the door there at the maintenance shop. After the meeting or sometime I can give you my number at any time. You can call me at any time during lunch or after hours. I'd be more than glad, or on a weekend, whenever it's convenient to you, to take you through the cemetery and show you the entire facility and show you the equipment that we have to work with and why we are in such a situation. Over the last few years, I was employed with the City of Eureka Springs Public Works Department, and I know during that time the city neglected, and I hate to say it, but it neglected the cemetery and has for several years. And I think, as I said, it's our duty and our obligation to put some money forth towards it to keep it up. Not only because of the reservoir of history there, but it's becoming the going trend for tours and people to check their genealogy, check their roots, see where they came from. 82 peoples that on my own time on the weekends I've taken through the facility since February the 12th. That's when I started taking records or keeping records. That's when a couple from Louisiana came up here specifically just to find a family member. And they got stuck in the snowstorm. They called me so I could help pull them out of the snow. They had no idea what Eureka Springs was all about. But once they discovered Eureka Springs after coming to the cemetery, they stayed, spent money here. They enjoyed themselves. I think it's a win-win situation, no matter how you look at it, for us to keep the facility in its park-like and pleasant atmosphere that it has. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Okay. Ms. Joanne?
Hi, I'm Joanne Graupner with the CAPC. I have a very short report tonight. I just want to invite everyone to our regular meeting, which is going to be Wednesday next week at 6 o'clock here in this room. If you have questions or concerns or any input to offer, we would love to have you join us. And other than that, everyone at our office is really, really busy now. So if we can't grab your call on the first ring of the phone, be a little bit patient. Everyone is working hard and learning new tasks and growing. So that's it. If you guys have anything for me, perfect. Thank you.
I believe that's all our committee reports as far as verbal. In your packet, you should have a report from Bobby Ray about total number of permits issued is 54, monthly income of $3,294.70. So I read that one because I didn't want it to get lost. You should have fire EMS, you should have public works, and transit also in your packets. Okay? And you should also have a budget report from Ms. Siobhan. All right. Anything else under commission reports? If not, we'll move into public comments. Mr. Pano.
Act on any of the commission applications at this point, or later, or what?
Well, I'll let Mr. Weaver decide. You mean on the new ones that were just submitted?
Or the resubmitted?
The resubmitted? Can they do that now? Or I thought we discussed it at one time that we could do it any time y'all get ready. So if you're ready for that, then
well, I just wanted to clarify. I made a motion, and I thought we had a second to vote on Mr. Grinnell's position.
Okay. During the reports, I think we have to wait till after the reports to do that. We can now. So you've made the motion. There's been a second on it. Is there any discussion on Mr. Grinnell's? Mr. Pino?
No, there's a saying that says to err is to human, to forgive is divine, and if I'd have gotten as many phone calls before the last meeting as I have since the last meeting, I'm waiting for AT&T to send me a bill for my incoming local calls, but I feel like I made a hasty judgment, and I'd like to see his experience stay on there at least another term.
Any further comments? Okay. If there's no further discussion, we have a roll call vote. It's a roll call vote, so we'll keep track of who said what.
You might want to clarify, since it's been so long, exactly what you're voting.
Okay. The motion was to accept Mr. Grinnell's reapplication for position number 6, which expires 3/7/11. Mr. Pownell sponsored it, and can't remember who seconded it. Do you have a second on that one? Who seconded
I'll
that?
second it.
Okay, Mr. DeVito seconded.
Independent.
Okay, Mr.
Okay.
DeVito did now. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Yes.
Okay.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Mr. Grinnell is position number 6.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. DeVito.
I'd move to accept the nomination of Mickey Schneider for planning.
Okay. Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on it? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Okay. Roll call vote again.
Ken Pownell?
No.
Janet Alexander?
Yes.
Butch Berry?
Yes.
Dr. Kirkpatrick?
No.
Lenny Balance?
No.
James DeVito?
Yes.
3-3, back to me.
It is.
Yes. Okay. Position number 1, the planning is filled with Ms. Mickey Schneider. Any further?
I'd like to
Ms.
thank Ms. Chamberlain for turning in her application. Thank you very much.
And I also would like to thank Ms. Chamberlain. We've also had a couple of other submissions for other, and at the time being, they were asked to be held. Mr. Pownell?
I just have a question that was brought up by our city attorney before we get into the heart of the evening.
Mhm.
I don't know if DeVito's is delivering tonight or not, but Clarification on what we've accepted for Robert's Rules of Order before we start getting into further debates and questions. And I thought we had adopted Robert's Rule of Order revised at the first meeting that we were finally able to have.
This one? Okay. I don't think it was actually defined as to what it was, but Mr.
I think there were some other procedures that we wanted to incorporate, but I think the main procedure was revised.
Yes.
Just wanted to clarify that.
Mr. Seville? Okay, we're done. So, Mr. Weaver, do you have any
I'm not sure.
recollection of what
I
it was
think
about?
well, I don't think, my recollection was you did not adopt a particular one because I think there are multiple different revised versions. I think there are some 11. Don't hold me to that number, but I think there may be 11 different sets of Robert's Rules over the years. That number sticks in mind. It may not be the correct one, but not sure.
I think this is the one that's on our website, if I'm not mistaken.
This is 10th edition.
I'm not seeing an edition number on this one. This one's just newly revised in brief.
Want to go by a year?
This states this one is printed in.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I don't think going by year will work.
Yeah, I don't either.
As our city attorney mentioned, I have Robert Rules of Order newly revised, also have Robert Rules of Order modern edition. Mr. Pinal may have a different. You've got the newly revised. I don't know what our city attorney has. I should make a motion that we use Robert Rules of Order newly revised.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to use Robert Rules newly revised, and I'm assuming this is.
Does that say newly revised on it?
Yes, it does. Newly revised.
That's it.
Okay. And there may be a different format it's set up in, but it's still newly revised.
Same one.
All right. Motion made and seconded to adopt Robert's Rules of Order newly revised as procedural manual.
Mr. Pinal did, I think.
Pinal did. Any further questions? Any further comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Well, anything else before we go into public comments? All right. First on the list is Mickey Schneider.
It's the stated time.
Hello, Mickey Schneider.
Oh, well, thank you for the positiveness. Mickey Schneider, just now placed on planning. I applied in February, and half the council seemed to have a problem. In the meantime, that has escalated, and I'm getting phone calls, emails, visits to my shop from locals wanting to know what is going on. So, regardless if you all had voted on me today or not, I would be still standing here and clarifying. Ken's problem with me on planning was a cell tower issue. I had requested over and over and over, please do a balloon test before voting, yay or nay, for a cell tower. He was adamantly against it. They wouldn't do it, so yes, I voted against denial simply because they needed to do a balloon test. I then went to council, sat on council. At that point, when they appealed, I was the one who originally brought the motion to deny. So there was nothing wrong going on in planning, just a personal difference of opinion in how it was handled. As far as the various actions of Ms. Balance, she was upset that at the December meeting I chastised the new council members for not being here at the table, as is traditional and historical to get the feel. She thought I was talking down to people and that this was wrong. Well, no, I was saying it like it was. You should have been here. You told me you would be here, and then you didn't come. So, yes, I chastised. In the meantime, she recused at the last meeting on the vote because of this chastisement and her disagreement with it. I'm sorry, if you want the job enough to put your name in the hat, whether you have an opponent or not, you need to be here. The people don't know you're sitting at home watching. It looks very bad for new council members to not be getting up to speed at the table. As far as Dean Kirkpatrick, last week when you were so irate about my name being brought up again, you never did vote no, you voted present, which is a no vote, but it's a chicken way of voting no. So come on, guys. Let's do the job you asked to be hired to do, okay? I'm going to leave it there because I'm still pretty furious about the whole actions, but there's going to be one more point I want to make. Lainey, at the end of the last meeting when I slammed out of here, you had a really, really good laugh. I wasn't slamming out of here because you tabled me indefinitely. I was slamming out of here because, yet again, planning had to cancel their meeting because they didn't have a quorum. Personal likes and dislikes do not belong at the council table, much less at planning. That was why I slammed out. They've had to cancel yet another meeting. They could have had it had I been voted on then. In the meantime, don't ever try to outmaneuver, spend more time checking on council actions rather than backdoor political actions, because all you tabled was that nomination, not this one.
Thank you.
That was it.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
So thank you for those who voted in favor of me. I do a good job, and I try.
Miss Melissa Green.
I'm here.
Hi, Melissa.
Hi, I'm Melissa Green, 17 Bridge Street. First of all, I want to thank Mayor Pate, 5 of the council members, sorry, Dean, I didn't call you, for the time that you've given me. You were available for me. You were receptive to me. You listened to me. And that's your job. Thank you, all of you. As you know, or most of you know, we've had another dog attack. This time, another pit bull. It killed a dog. And I want to give you some history on this. The owner of this dog I lived by for 3 years. When I lived there, he had 3 vicious German Shepherds. I had numerous calls to the police, 1 or 2 reports. I know my neighbors have called on this guy. I know Mayor Pate is very aware of this gentleman. This is a very, very, very bad owner. And I want you all for a moment to think about what this little dog felt before it was ripped to shreds. Now, the thing that worries me is I talked to my former neighbors there. One neighbor has had a kid chased by this dog, and this neighbor did call the animal control but didn't make a report because she's afraid of retaliation. The other neighbors I talked to are scared too because for the same reason I moved out of that neighborhood, the drug dealing and the dogs. I mean, what's wrong with that picture, guys? I mean, this is really, really sad. But the thing that scares me the most is our law, and the ordinance that we have is pretty good. It needs some tightening up. But we don't impound these animals after they've done something like this. And we sent this dog home with this kid who has a history of letting that dog roam. Deb Stroop will come in and tell you that she called the animal control on this dog a few weeks ago. So basically, we've left a loaded weapon in this kid's hands. I want tonight, I'm begging you guys, please, you can do something, emergency, a resolution. I talked to Earl, he's all for impounding these animals. Pass something so we can get these animals off the street. They're dangerous. Lainey, you have a granddaughter over there. I also want to talk about our animal control guy. I can't say enough good things about him. In this week's Citizen, there is 8 logs on the police thing. Now, that's not all of them, on dogs. One of them is, I'll read this one. A citizen running with her dog said her dog was attacked by an unnamed and uncontrolled dog. I mean, guys, that's 8 calls. That's 8 hours for that guy. And we're paying him for 10. Plus, we're not paying him for his gas. We need to up the hours. It's called for. The last week's paper, there were 2 pit bulls running loose at the school. I'm not sure which school, but come on now. These are little kids. This is really scary, guys. So I'm begging you tonight, when you talk about this, can we come up with a clause to get these dogs off the street? Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Debbie Stroop.
I promise not to cry this time. I brought copies so you can listen to me. You don't have to write down everything I'm saying to you, but I've talked to several people in town. I already sent this to Ken at his request, but I've talked to several people in town and have gotten a lot of feedback via email or whatever, and there's several issues with the current ordinance. As we said, there are good things in the current ordinance, but there's things we think that would help tighten it up. Things like improving the definition of nuisance, that should include the animals that are repeatedly at large. And the animals that are repeatedly at large, if they're not defined as vicious, that's one thing. They should still be fined, we think, and there should be some escalation for repeat offenders. Running at large should not be a fine just for people designated dangerous or vicious. It should be any dog that's out continually and could cause harm. The definition of restraint, we think, should be improved to be more reflective of a mandatory leash law when you're in the public domain, and that there should be fencing required by owners who have dogs. And in some cases, a lot of these dogs are where there's landlords that have renters that have dogs, and they don't have the appropriate restraints for the people living there. And we've also had issues with pets riding loose in back of pickups. Animals deemed to be vicious based on the current rules, which are any animal that bites another dog or a human. The definition is a good definition, but we would like to see it, as Melissa said, immediately impounded and held by the authorities until a decision can be made by the court. Licensing of the animals needs to be improved. You know, in most cities where there's licensing, there is a follow-up, so you make sure you keep your dog licensed appropriately and the city gets the revenue they need to even help fund our animal control officer. Well, here, I don't think we either don't have a good process in place or perhaps even need to make a possibility of doing a 3-year licensing in conjunction with the rabies vaccinations that are now 3 years, and upping the fees to make it easier for people to not have to try to remember every year since there's no current process in place. There are some opening sections in the current ordinance, the very bottom here of 60417 and 60418, that have mentions here, but there's nothing specified in the document. So either take them out or put something in there. And then we don't want to just we're not just here to complain. I've had a lot of good support and good ears the last couple of weeks. And one of the things I'd like to suggest is that we get a member of the council, a member of planning, and even we'd like to suggest the city clerk, who would probably be in charge of helping with the licensing, to be on a committee with concerned citizens to try to get this ordinance tightened up. And once we get it, and have some workshops, get people's input, get it done, and then once we think we have a good ordinance, give it to the city attorney for review and quick turnaround so that we can make an improvement. So it's all in writing. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I have a question real quick.
Sure.
The handout said definitions of nuisance should exclude, did that include? Animals repeatedly at large?
No, because we don't think, well, it's kind of contradictory in that when it's a nuisance, the fine is next to nothing. So really we want to take it out and make it part of the running at large. Does that make sense?
Just one makes sense, sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Jen. Jen Grinnell.
We're tag teaming. One thing that Deb didn't point out, not only do we want to work on the licensings of the animals, we would like a database of the animals, what kind they are. We'd like it posted on the city website. That way we can choose what neighborhood we want to walk our dogs in. We'll know where the dangerous dogs may be. That would be great if we could also consider that. The other thing is enforcement. I feel we're in a crisis situation. In 20 days, we've had 2 horrible dog attacks. For a town of 2,000, that's a crisis. There's a number of things we could do right now in enforcement that does comply with what we've got on the books. we could start giving the police officers leashes, encourage them when they see a dog out, instead of calling animal control, pick it up, take it in, call the dog catcher. The other thing is we could work on the dog catcher's hours. 10 hours a week right now, with what's going on, is not enough. And I know it all revolves around money. It all revolves around resources. Maybe y'all need to have a immediate budget meeting to address this and take the 10-hour limitation off the dog catcher for 6 months or whatever is needed. I think we've got emergency funds. Perhaps you could tap into that for this. But whatever the council can do to protect us right now would be appreciated. And thank y'all for your time.
Thank you, ma'am. Leroy Gurrell. Leroy Gurrell. Oh, there he is.
I didn't mean to sign up for anything.
Oh, you didn't?
Just here with me.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sam Feldman. Hi. How are you?
Sam Feldman, my husband and I live on Spring Street, and again on the dogs, we have a little 11-pound miniature schnauzer that I walk 2 or 3 times a day. And I've had this happen before, but I was really aware of it the other day since I knew Deborah's dog that got attacked, Lulu. When I went down to walk her, we always go down to Crescent Spring and turn around. This Rottweiler came bounding across the street at me, or at her, and scared me to death. Of course, you know what a Rottweiler looks like. And what my natural inclination was to grab my little dog, pick her up, and I put myself between me and that huge Rottweiler. So it's only a matter of time before somebody dumb like me saves my dog and gets attacked by a Rottweiler. So, and I've seen that dog before loose in that area. And when the dog luckily turned around and went back, and he jumped in an open window of a truck sitting right there, and there was a person in there. And I hollered, is that your dog? No, it belongs to the guy I'm with, some story. But the point was, he wasn't even on the street. He was allowed to jump out of that truck. So, again, just support for this dog thing. It is a really, really, really serious issue. It's only a matter of time before somebody gets stuck in between a person. Not that we're necessarily more important than our little babies, they're like our children. But just really important issue that we hope you guys will take care of. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. That is the last. Ms. Feldman was the last one to sign up for public comments. All right. First item under unfinished business is discussion of Resolution 484 and Ordinance 1940. Fee schedule for Planning Commission in Boza. Mr. Connell, Mr. DeVito.
Move to discuss.
Motion to discuss.
484.
Motion to discuss, or a second?
Second.
Made and seconded. Go ahead.
I've provided everyone a copy, and I just noticed a typo, which leads me to my next request. I have a request into the Municipal League for clarification. I think just this typo and some other things that we could be faced with, I truly believe that we need to have resolutions handled in 2 steps, even though they can be passed in one night. Number 1, motion, and second, and voted on to read, and then voted, having discussion, and then voting on how it's revised. Because like this particular one, if it were passed to read and it's done, voted on, it's before anybody really knows what it says. So with that, I will turn it over to anyone else while I'm trying to figure out my typo.
You have comments?
Schedule of fees in the title.
Oh, okay. Mr. Connell.
I did not go into the ordinance that was on the agenda. There's too much that really needs to be changed. These were the 4 that were on the 11-year-old resolution, and since resolutions are supposed to be temporary or supporting short-term agenda type issues. I just went ahead so we could get it taken care of and put it on with the 4 items.
Okay. So your motion is to do this in 2 parts?
Yes.
Do resolutions in 2 parts? Mr. Pownell made a motion to separate resolution into 2 parts. First time is a reading. And go ahead and restate yours.
To assign a number and read it, discussion, and then vote on it.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay. Motion made and seconded. We'll let the clerk get down the motion so she can make sure we know what we're voting on.
Question, at the same meeting?
Yes, at the same time.
Did everyone understand the motion? Mr. DeVito?
I really don't see any reason to deviate from procedure on resolutions because we basically